Everyone says your dog reads your mood because they love you. They are half right. Your dog is also catching your emotional state through a channel you never chose to open. Through chemistry, through scent, through the slow tuning of years spent beside you. So how does your furry friend feel the storm coming? Before you have said a single word, you have watched it happen. You come home wound tight from a day you have not begun to describe. Your hand is still on the door, and already, before your keys touch the table, before you sit down, before you say anything at all, your dog is at your feet, softer, quieter, matching you. You think it is a lucky guess. It is not a guess. The moment you step into a room, your dog begins to read you. Your face, the weight on your shoulders, something in the air around you that you cannot smell, and they can. And they adjust, the way you soften your own voice for someone you love without ever deciding to. Here is what most owners never realize. This is not simply your dog reacting to you. This is your dog tuned to you, like an instrument built over thousands of years to resonate at your exact frequency. Think about that for a second. You spent your whole life learning to read the people you love. Your dog started reading you the day they met you and never stopped. So the question is why? Why can a dog feel the shape of your mood before you have even found the words for it yourself? To understand it, you have to go back. Long before the couch, long before the leash hanging by your door. Picture the animal your dog came from. A wolf on a cold ridgeline, reading the world for one question and one question only. Is this a threat? That is the entire job. Read the other animal, measure the danger, stay alive until morning. Nothing in that world asks you to care how another creature feels inside, only whether it might hurt you. Attention is expensive out there, and it all goes to survival. Every scrap of focus that wolf owns is spent on staying alive. There is no attention left over to wonder what the animal beside it is feeling, and no reason there would be. Now picture your living room tonight. Your dog is not scanning you for danger. Your dog is scanning you for you. How are you? What do you need? Should they come closer or leave you the quiet end of the couch? Somewhere between that frozen ridgeline and this warm room, something reversed. The first dogs who could read a human face, who could tell a soft mood from a sharp one and answer it. Those were the ones who stayed close, who were fed, who were kept. Generation after generation, we did not just tame them, we tuned them to us. Think about how strange that is. We did not breed them mainly for strength or speed or size. Over and over, the trait that earned a place by the fire was the one that could feel us. The dog who noticed the drop in your voice and came closer. The dog who read the tired in your face and lay down quietly instead of demanding a walk. So your dog stopped only watching for what might hurt them and started watching for what is happening inside you. And that is not the words you say. That is not the tone alone. It is the shape of the feeling underneath both. And your dog learned to feel it directly, in real time, without a single word passing between you. This is the part that sounds sentimental, right up until the science catches up with it, because there are real studies, with names, run in real labs, that show exactly how your dog is doing this. 3 of them, and each one cuts deeper than the last. The first explains why your dog orients to you at all. Hold 2 things in your mind as we go. First, your dog is reading a channel you cannot see. And second, that channel does not run one way. Keep both. They meet at the end. The first explains why your dog orients to you at all. The second explains how your mood physically crosses the space between you. And the third should change how you think about every hard week you have ever spent beside your dog. Start with the simplest question. Why does your dog care about your state in the first place? Why you? And not the mail carrier, not the stranger on the sidewalk. In 2008, researchers Palmer and Custance published a study in Applied Animal Behavior Science. They borrowed a test built for human infants called the strange situation. A room, an owner, a stranger, and a series of small comings and goings. Watching how the dog responds to each one. What they found is that your dog treats you as something scientists call a secure base. When you are in the room, your dog explores, relaxes, and plays. When you leave, the whole room changes for them. And when you come back, you are the thing that settles them. That is the exact pattern a young child shows toward a parent. Here is what that means for you tonight. Your dog does not simply live in your house. Your dog uses you as the center of gravity for their entire emotional world. You are the fixed point they measure everything else against. Watch it the next time you stand up from the couch. The small lift of their head. The way their eyes find you before their body even moves. That is your dog checking that the center of the room is still where it should be. So when your mood shifts, it does not land as background noise. It lands at the center of things. That is why they orient to you first, every single time. But orienting to you is not the same as feeling what you feel. So how does your mood actually cross the space between you? Part of the answer is something you cannot see and cannot smell, but your dog can. In 2018, a team led by D'Aniello published work in the journal Animal Cognition on something called chemosignals. The idea is simple and a little unsettling. When you are afraid, your body releases a different set of compounds in your sweat than when you are calm and happy. A human emotional signature carried in scent. They collected that scent. Sweat from people who were frightened and sweat from people who were joyful. And they let dogs breathe it in with no other cue at all. The dogs changed. Breathing in human fear scent, they showed more stress behavior, more looking to their owner, and more seeking of reassurance. Breathing in human happy scent, they stayed looser, more open, more willing to approach a stranger. Sit with that for a moment. Your dog does not need to see your face fall. Your feelings have a smell, and your dog is breathing them in. Scientists call this emotional contagion, a state that moves from one body into another. Whether it rises all the way to what we would call empathy is still an open question. But the transfer itself is real, and it is happening in your home right now. So your dog reads you as their safe base. Your dog catches your feelings straight out of the air. And then there is the third study, the one that works on a much slower clock. In 2019, Sundman and colleagues at Linköping University published in Scientific Reports. They measured something long-term. Cortisol, a stress hormone, is captured in hair, which records stress not over a single moment but over months. They measured it in dogs and in their owners across many pairs. The levels were synchronized. Owners carrying more long-term stress tended to have dogs carrying more long-term stress. And when they looked closer, it was the owner's personality shaping the dogs, not the other way around. Across the seasons, your baseline was quietly becoming theirs. This one comes with honest limits. It was mostly herding breeds, mostly with female owners, and it is a slow pattern over time, not a switch that flips on one bad night. So no single hard evening writes itself into your dog, but the long weather of your life, the steady climate of it. Your dog has been living inside it all along. This next part sounds made up. It isn't, because the very same tuning that lets your dog absorb your stress is the tuning that lets you hand something back. Now, before we keep going, if you are learning something new about your dog, hit like and subscribe. That is how we get these videos to more dog owners who want to love their dogs the right way. So let us bring all of this into the ordinary night you are going to have tonight. Because if your dog is this tuned to you, then the good news is you are holding a lever most owners never notice. Start with your voice. In 1990, the researcher Patricia McConnell tested how dogs respond to the pure shape of a sound. Not its meaning, its shape. Short, sharp, rising notes reliably wind a dog up. They raise arousal, pull the dog toward you, and speed everything up. Long, low, falling tones tend to do the opposite. They settle. Think about what that means for you. Your dog is not standing there waiting to understand your sentences. Your dog is riding the melody underneath them. So on the night you cannot fix how you feel, you can still choose the shape of your voice. Low, slow, falling at the ends. Not because the words are magic, because the shape is the message your dog was built to hear. You have felt this run the other way, too. The night you came in, clipped and fast, and your dog got up bright and busy and could not settle either. That was not disobedience. That was your dog riding your melody, exactly as built. And it is not only your voice. In 2014, Rehn and colleagues in Physiology and Behavior looked at how the way you greet your dog changes them. Calm physical contact versus a rushed hello versus ignoring them entirely. The way you come back measurably shifts what happens inside your dog in those first few minutes. Picture it. You crouch. You let your hand rest on their chest instead of patting the top of their head. You let your own breath slow before theirs does. You have not said a single word, and your dog has already received the whole message. Your entrance is information. The pause at the door, the softness in your hand. Your dog reads all of it as the first line of the evening. You are always telling them something in those first few seconds. The only question is what you want the sentence to be. Which brings us to the thing you might be quietly carrying. If you have had a season of hard days, a stretch of anxious weeks, of nights you could not settle, you may have started to wonder whether all this tuning means you have been hurting your dog, whether your worry has been leaking into them this whole time. So hear this clearly. Being read is not being wounded. Your dog absorbing your weather is not your dog being damaged by it. Those are not the same thing, and the difference matters more than almost anything else in this video. A radio picks up the storm. The storm does not break the radio. Your dog is tuned to receive you, and being received is not the same as being harmed. Your dog did not choose a version of you that never has a hard night. They chose you. All of your weather, the bright days and the low ones. And on the low ones, they do not love you any less. They lean in closer. And here is the part almost no owner ever realizes. Because this current does not only run from you into your dog, it runs back. In 2003, Odendaal Meintjes published a study in the Veterinary Journal, later supported by Handlin and colleagues in 2011. They looked at what happens during simple, affectionate contact, a person quietly stroking a dog they love, and they measured it in both bodies at once. In both, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, went up. In both, cortisol, the stress hormone, came down. Not just in the dog, in the person too. The samples were small, so hold this one gently. But the shape of it is clear. The word for this is co-regulation. Two bodies bringing each other back to steady. It is close to what a parent does with an infant, chest to chest, breath-slowing breath. Your dog does a version of it with you, on the floor, in the lamplight, without either of you ever saying it out loud. When your dog leans into you on a hard night and you let your hand settle into their fur, you are not only comforting them, they are dosing you back, slowing your heart while you think you are slowing theirs. There is a specific weight to it, the way a dog sighs and goes heavy against your leg when the room finally feels safe. You know that weight. You have felt it land. That is not nothing happening. That is two nervous systems finding the same quiet. Scientists stay careful here. The samples are small. The mechanism is still being mapped, so do not oversell it, even to yourself. But you do not need a large study to feel the truth of the smaller claim. Something in you settles when they settle. That much you already know. Think about all the nights you assumed you were the only one giving. Your dog is resting their weight across your feet. Your hand was moving slowly through their coat without you even noticing you had started. Two nervous systems, in the dark, quietly talking each other down. You thought you were carrying them. The whole time, you were carrying each other. So come back to where we started. You, in the doorway, wound tight from a day you had not described yet. Your dog was already at your feet before you said a word. You thought they felt your mood because they love you. And they do. But underneath the love is a body tuned to yours across thousands of years, reading your face, breathing your feelings out of the air, carrying the long climate of your life without ever being asked to, and moving quietly the other way, a second current you never counted. Not just feeling your storm, answering it, not the words, not the tone. The whole shape of you, received and answered by an animal who has been practicing you for years. That is what was happening in the doorway. Not a lucky guess, not a simple, easy devotion. A whole animal, shaped over uncountable years, pointed entirely at you, reading the storm, softening the storm, asking for nothing in return except to be near you while it passes. You have spent so long being the one who takes care of the dog. Tonight, notice the smaller, quieter thing running the other way. The dog has been taking care of you too. Your dog feels your mood before you say a word. And on the days you cannot find your own calm, they are quietly trying to lend you theirs. That was never small to them, and it should never feel small to you. If this is the kind of thing you like to sit with, subscribe and keep wondering with us. And tell me below, when does your dog find you first? The moment you walk in, or the moment your voice changes?